All right, everybody, I am excited, super excited to bring you this tournament footage from a little bit of a different tournament that it looks like I'll be casting on a pretty regular basis moving forward, and that is PCS, which is stands for Project Conquerors. They have a series of tournaments that they're putting together, kind of like a league that every week they have a tournament. The finalists of those tournaments qualify for the final qualifier in August, and that qualifier has an $800 prize pool. I believe it's $500 to first place. So pretty cool stuff. This tournament was awesome as well. I mean, it was mainly French competitors as well as a lot of other European competitors. So it was kind of cool to see a different region compete. Way different people than what I'm used to, right? There was some familiar faces such as Kit Kat and Ace that usually play in a lot of the Duels of Runeterra or Jamfest stuff that I see, but this tournament was hella fun. I will say there was a astounding amount of quick play in this tournament. I actually mentioned it towards the end of the cast as well. It was very refreshing to have pretty much nobody rope the entire top cut. These were very quick games. You're going to see this was a quick 2-0 in the finals, but we had a graphic, and actually multiple graphics. You're only going to see one of them here that just kind of went over the percentage of how many people were playing that deck in their lineup. We talk about that here a little bit before we get into the two games for the finals. I am hoping that we can get some more NA players over to this tournament. This tournament was done on the EU server, so that is something to take into consideration. So all you NA people that have EU server accounts, definitely hop on board. I am going to go ahead and put a link to the Discord server for the PCS qualifying tournaments in the description below. So if you are interested in participating in the future and possibly qualifying for, like I said, the $800 prize pool later on in August, then definitely go ahead, click that link. I'm very excited to cast that tournament later on in August. So shout out to Belius, which I still do not know if I'm pronouncing that name right. I think I butchered it a bunch in the cast. I think it's Belius now from talking to him, and Elix as well for providing all that production stuff, all the graphics and stuff like that. So, but without further ado, I will shut up now. Let's get into these two games. And like I said, we're going to start with kind of overviewing some of the top cut decks from the tournament, and then we're going to jump into the gameplay. So with that said, we will be getting into the stream or into the gameplay in a little bit. We're just, again, waiting on the finalists. But until we do that, I want to go ahead and, let's see here. I'm going to pull up this deck distribution that we had again. So this is confirmed by Belias in chat, if you want to go ahead and take a look at it. We do have this is the decks for the top 10. Okay, so this is not the entire tournament. This is just what percentage of these decks were played, and we do see here a pretty widespread. First off, I mean that's the first thing that comes to my mind here. The other thing that just strikes me so odd is, again, this Misfortune Quinn. It hasn't impressed me in this top 8 either. It just does not seem like the greatest of decks. I feel like it has a lot of weaknesses. Brahma Nivea I've yet to see in the top 8. So it's a little interesting that we still haven't seen it. I imagine it's just not being played. I imagine it's being banned out. I'm not sure if people are opting to play Brahma Nivea as opposed to Ezreal Vi. Somebody in chat did mention that there is no real representation of Ezreal Vi on this list here. So, or Ezreal Karma, sorry. And that is a little weird. So I don't know if people actually just replaced it with Brahma Nivea, and maybe the Brahma Nivea is getting banned out, which is why we're not seeing it. That could be an explanation. We do see Zed here, which I imagine this is just the elusive Freljord deck. So obviously that's been popular since the game's inception. That has literally been around since this game was in freaking beta. Just saying. Then we have Misfortune Lucian. So Misfortune Lucian was what I was talking about earlier. I think that's the way that you play scout decks. I think that is 100 the way that you're supposed to play scouts. It's way more aggressive. It's way faster. And we only saw one. We saw one of those decks so far in the top 8. It performed. I think that was on the side of Flaxeau. Yeah, so performed very well. It ended up beating out Sea Monsters in that matchup. And obviously it does have the, it does have the advantage in that matchup regardless, but I still think that that is the much better route than Misfortune Quinn. I think Misfortune Quinn kind of lacks some of the tools and some of the pressure that the Misfortune Lucian version has. Ash Sejuani is a thing. That's been around for a little while now. And then we have None. So I'm assuming here that None, take a drink of water quick. I'm assuming that None is specifically like burn aggro, which is actually a little surprising that the deck is still here. In my eyes, Darius, or even with the Draven Splash, but primarily Darius, just seems like such a ridiculously better version of aggro. So it's very surprising to still see no championless, it's like a double negative. Championless aggro still represented on this list. So pretty cool stuff. We're going to go ahead and get back over to me. It does look like they are in the waiting room currently to get started. So pretty fun stuff. I'm really excited to get going for this finals for the PCS. And I can already tell, Manittas, man after my own heart here, the name of the deck is Smork. So let's just get into this game, and you guys can actually see here as well the wonderful name that is Smork right above my head there. And I'm actually going to change the match score here too. If you don't know what Smork is, check out World of Warcraft, check out Hearthstone. Smork is face is the place, and that's exactly what this deck does 100% of the time. So tossing that Harrowing back seems like a good idea. Harrowing is pretty much useless unless you top deck it, which I actually called at a previous match, basically stating that the whole entire point of this Darius deck is to top deck Harrowing, and they top decked it for the win. Or not top deck it, but eventually create a board state where one attack turn plus a second turn of Harrowing will essentially just win you the game. And it's kind of hard to overcome 2 6-unit attacks, right? Any deck, for that matter. So, Gems making fun of me. What the heck? God, everybody attacking me, man. All right. So we do see the Precious Pet and the Saboteur coming out first turn, which is pretty good. 2 1-drops always feels good as an aggro deck. Kind of stinks, though, that the Lucian was drawn by Flaxeau. And again, yet another reason why I think that the Lucian version of this Misfortune deck is so much better. Just look at it. This Lucian staves off this Precious Pet. And, I mean, obviously it's kind of a crappy blocker, right? It's not going to really be able to trade well with much of what we're seeing on the board, but it still allows a blocker for the Precious Pet if you absolutely need it. So again, this quick attack on Draven, it kind of feels bad too. So I can see why. Again, I mentioned earlier, Darius usually did not include Draven in a lot of the other Noxus aggro decks I've seen, but I can definitely see why Draven has now been adapted to be included in the deck. You can see he's already, Manittas is already going super aggressive as well with this spinning axe on the Saboteur. Oh, okay. So okay. So he actually did that knowing that the Rangers result. I was like, wow, why is he doing that? But very good heads up play by Manittas, kind of like a little mind game there, knowing immediately that the Rangers Resolve is going to come out, and can't speak enough about Rangers Resolve and what we've been seeing from it all day. Has just allowed for so many good trades and prevented so many direct damage spells from just straight up removing units on the board. So good to see a pretty heads up play there by Manittas as far as that's concerned. So we're going into turn 4. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Flaxeau's scout deck here. I mean, turn 4 is usually looking at a Grizzled Ranger. He is playing 3 Island Navigators, so that is something to know. And the one and only, because there's only one copy of it too, Great Horn Companion. Who doesn't want to put some Great Horn Companion action in their deck? Because I know I do. The Moose is here. I don't know if we're going to see it or not. I haven't seen it from him thus far throughout this tournament, so we'll see if he actually does end up playing it here. But we do see another 3 damage come through with the Draven. And interestingly enough, Flaxeau, again, please correct me, chat, if I'm butchering his name, is actually up as far as damage is concerned against this Noxus aggro deck. And just as I say that, the Decimate comes out. But I do think it's very interesting how Flaxeau has actually been able to put so much tempo onto the aggro deck where he's almost out-racing the aggro deck, which is what this deck can do, is what the Scout deck can do with playing the Lucian instead of the Misfortune. Instead of the Quinn. And we do see the Misfortune come down, though, on an attack turn, which is crucial because that means, A, that's 1 damage to Manittas' face, so that means he only has to do 6 more damage to actually take it home. B, actually, I take that back, that's 2 more damage because he has Scouts that can attack, so that's going to be 2 procs of the Misfortune. And then B, yeah, it's another attacker to make the board just that much wider to get through the final damage that he's going to need. And I'm not sure how scared he is of this Darius. If Flaxeau is able to play 2 more followers, or like a Lucian and a 1-drop or something, then that might just be game with Manittas sitting on 1 mana. I don't know if there's really anything that he can do with 1 mana, so there's nothing that Flaxeau needs to worry about. And he can just go ahead and, he can go ahead and attack with these Scouts here. I guess it doesn't matter if he attacks with the 2/4. I'm just trying to think if he should attack with both Scouts or if he should only attack with the good old Plunder Poro. So happy you get a Poro. He's actually opting to attack with everybody right off the bat, which seems weird. He must have a Relentless Pursuit if that's the case. There's most likely a Relentless Pursuit in Flaxeau's hand, and if that is the case, then I am almost positive that no matter what way Manittas plays this, he will not be able to stay alive. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I was not expecting that whatsoever, and honestly, that does seem like kind of a heads-up play from Flaxeau. I mean, it is able to get rid of that Darius quite nicely, still do some damage to Manittas' Nexus, and still have way more units than Manittas. But now that's going to put Manittas on 8 mana. He is short of Harrowing, which is a crucial break point, which is probably what led Flaxeau to actually make that decision and go the riposte route. I'd be curious to see if he actually had a Relentless Pursuit in his hand, because it does seem like he was very much bluffing that he had a Relentless Pursuit. So that would be nice to see if that was the case. We do see a secondary. Okay, that's just like Flaxeau played that last turn beautifully. And to see this Darius come down, it's going to do 6 damage as of now, no matter what. So Flaxeau needs to have even a Ranger's Resolve won't do the trick. Yeah, wow. Darius puts it away for Manittas. Oh my God. The amount of... All right, listen. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. Wow, that's just wrong. I don't know how I feel about that. As a caster, I don't feel comfortable having casted that. Just like having the second Darius, man, just feels incredibly bad. It really does. Flaxeau really played quite well there. And there's nothing you can do at that point. It just is what it is. Your opponent had the second Darius. There's no way for you to prevent enough damage to live. And next. So now we do see. All right. Finally, we have Heimerdinger. I say finally, but we saw one other game, part of a game earlier. We haven't seen a whole lot of this otherwise, I imagine, because it was banned out. And can I just say here real quick how annoying this vibe bug is? They fixed the Dusk and Dawn bug. They still refuse to fix these stupid gauntlets hovering over the card when she gets +1 attack every... Oh my God, it's terrible. So it bugs the ever-living hell out of me every single time I see it. So anyways, We see the Shadow Assassin come down. Pretty typical turn 3 from the Heimer Vi deck. Flaxeau here really, he needs to put a lot of pressure on. So again, I cannot stress enough. We talked about this earlier with Lucian and Misfortune. It's a much more aggressive version of the Scout deck. Theoretically, assuming he draws well, I guess you could say that about any matchup, Flaxeau should have the advantage here in being able to really be the aggressor and put a lot of pressure on Manittas. I'd be curious to see what comes down on turn 4 here for Flaxeau and turn 5. That is very good. So my curiosity has been fulfilled. Having a Misfortune come down is huge for Flaxeau. It means he will probably have a very good aggressive attack coming up. But that Get Excited from Manittas, man, he just keeps top decking so many good answers. If I imagine that Get Excited is probably going to come down on the Misfortune this turn. However, if Flaxeau plays a unit first, there's a good shot this Vi could come down. This Vi is a very good blocker. She can kill anything on the board. Yep. All right, so he is going to go with the Vi. This Vi trades incredibly well into this board. The barrier on the Misfortune does allow the Misfortune to still attack, though, which is also a very big deal. And we do have a very wide board on the part of Flaxeau. So this is very, very good going into 1 mana on the part of Manittas, because he's most likely not going to have any sort of response being on 1 mana. The Hawk, the good old Hawk that everybody knows and loves, is able to pull the Vi off to the side here. To basically make sure that we push through as much damage as possible. So I do think that's pretty smart there. He's just reordering his attack to make sure it is in the proper order. And unfortunately, only going to get 1 damage on this Vi. That tough really makes her very tough to to kill. So Manittas is still going to get value at some point out of this Vi. But putting Manittas down to 9 is very good here. If he has a Relentless Pursuit, he has a Relentless Pursuit. Look at this. All right. Now, and actually the barrier is still on the Misfortune. Okay. So, unfortunately, the Vi will still not live, though, which feels so bad. I'm trying to think of a way that Flaxeau kills the Vi next turn before it's able to challenge something. And I'm also thinking, does he attack with both? I think it makes sense to attack with at least the Misfortune and the Jagged Butcher. By pushing the Lucian, I don't think you really gain too much. Because then I think your opponent will go down to 1 if you push that as well. So I do think this is the smart play. You save the Lucian, which makes it so you still have a decently wide enough board to push through more damage on your next attack turn, which is likely when you're going to be looking to finish off the game. I will say, it's a little risky, though, what Flaxeau just did there, because he doesn't really have a lot of resources. So that leads me to believe there must be something good in that hand. This Get Excited is definitely going to kill the Lucian, even with the Ranger's Resolve, which is going to feel really bad. There could be another Relentless Pursuit in there, which is what he might have been banking on, Flaxeau, if he still had the Lucian, which is going to stink now that he doesn't have it. I think that War Chef's played from the left. So still very curious to see what card is left in his hand that made him make that decision to go ahead and play the Relentless there and kind of go all in. And it looks like, wow, yeah. So, okay. I thought he gave it attack. I was a little confused there for a second, but yeah, it looks like this Misfortune's gonna die. And Flaxeau, okay. Oh wow, if he had, the Shadow Fiend. Oh, Flaxeau can't win. With the Misfortune and those scouts, there might have been a shot there. I think he would have just had game with the level up on the Misfortune and the 3 damage. Because the second attack, first one would have been 1 damage, second attack would have been 3, and the additional damage would have been pushed through. But it looks like Manittas had all the answers, and honestly, even still, Manittas looks like he has the answers. I mean, he has a Deep Meditation to dig for more spells. Yeah, and to Get Excited. So I think that it's just game over. I think that Manittas has been able to stabilize. Flaxeau isn't going to be able to push through the damage needed. And this is really unfortunate because Flaxeau, I mean, based on the hand that Flaxeau had, I think it was played properly. I think he did a really good job of optimizing the amount of damage that he could do, and he was preparing for that last turn, victory, like I said, with leveling up that Misfortune. But man, just killing everything, killing the Lucian, killing the Misfortune. This Heimer Vi deck was just able to use all of its removal options to its advantage, like it typically does, and win the game. And I think that's what we're going to see here on this next turn. Manittas is at 2. I don't think... Is there any random card that somehow deals damage? Like, is Flaxeau, can he yoink a Mystic Shot somehow? Come on, tell me you're playing Pilfered Goods and you can get a Mystic Shot. Come on, tell me you're playing Pilfered Goods and you can get a Mystic Shot. I'll be so excited. That would be quite... I mean, because if he does it, that's 2-0. That's another 2-0 from Manittas, and that is insane. Actually, oh man, I always forget to, guys, chat, you gotta be on top of me. You gotta be on top of me here. I gotta update this score. But yeah, oh my god. Oh wait, doesn't do anything, or does it? No, I think. God, and even that top deck is like one of the better cards, but it's just gonna straight up die to the Vi, and I think. He lives. Wait, what is that? 6? Okay. So Flaxeau lives. And I don't think there's anything he can draw, right? The Vi... Oh, wait, no. Because the Vi deals the 5 damage. Never mind. Wow. So that's game. And yeah, that is Manittas. Top 8. We've seen every game from Manittas. Okay? Top 8, 2-0. Top 4, 2-0. Finals, 2-0. That is insane. Let's go back on over. Wow, that was some insane gameplay. Honestly, I can't believe I just saw the amount of 2-0s. The amount of 2-0s that I actually just saw is incredible. There were so many quick games, so many just decisive plays by the players too, which is refreshing. Might I add? All right. Again, this is the first time that I've casted a French event. So huge shout out to PCS for allowing me to cast this, especially with all the crap that we just had to deal with on the production side. But huge shout out to Belias and Elix for allowing me to cast this, being my first casting event. I think this is my first solo cast that I've done, at least in a long time too. But a lot of times I cast other tournaments. Oh, the roping. I'm just going to say it. I know everybody's thinking it. I'm going to say it. I know everybody's thinking it, but I'm going to say it. And this was very, very refreshing to see so many players like not roping and just snapping off decisions one by one by one. And it was pretty cool because it also shows me that those players have a whole lot of confidence in their decks, a whole lot of confidence in their decisions, and they know what they're doing. All right, guys, that's it. As always, if you are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like the tournament gameplay footage, smash that like button. Pretty excited, like I said, to bring some different tournaments to you guys in this PCS qualifier. Again, huge shout out to Belias and Elix for being able to allow me to cast this, first and foremost. And again, for providing a lot of the graphics and just, overall a very well organized tournament. Very quick top cut as well, which again is super, super refreshing. Also, shout out to obviously all the players in the tournament and the top cut. It was a pleasure casting you guys, really it was, and obviously we wouldn't have these tournaments without the players, most importantly. So and congrats to Manittas. Very, very excited to see you play in the future. Hopefully we'll see you win some more tournaments as well, and maybe even participate in some of the NA tournaments. We can get some cross tournament play there. Very excited for the Legends of Runeterra community to continue to grow. As always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope it just works for you, and peace out.